So introductions, which we just did, something about a little bit about the foundation and the scholarship, and then ASU will talk about its programs, and we'll end with some questions and answers. Okay, so a little bit about the foundation. At the Abdullah Al Ghurair Foundation for Education, our aim is to provide educational opportunities for Arab youth from across the whole region. And the aim is to offer 15,000 educational opportunities, some of which are scholarships and otherwise, in the next 10 years. And our focus is on students that are high achieving, but come from underserved backgrounds. So whether you live in a conflict ridden area, or a location that's hard to reach, or if you have had financial challenges, all those kinds of reasons that may limit your opportunities to access some of these universities, we're here to support that. The other purpose of the foundation is to help develop a new generation of leaders in the Arab world. So we're looking for students that are committed to the region and want to give back to the community in their areas of specialization. We offer 3 programs at the foundation. So the first is the Young Thinkers program that's focused on high school students, preparing them for university and work in the future. The second one is our traditional scholarship program, where students travel to university and study there, focusing specifically on science, technology, engineering, and math programs. And the Al Ghurair Open Learning Scholars Program, which is the one we're focusing on here today. And there the attention is on online credentials and degrees. So looking at the master's degrees that we're offering together with ASU, we also have a partnership with MIT and those types of programs. So let's talk about the scholarship. What does the scholarship at ASU include? So first of all, anyone who qualifies to receive the scholarship at Arizona State University will receive a full scholarship to complete one of the 28 master's degrees online. The scholarship will cover all of the tuition and other school-related fees. Second of all, as a scholar, you will receive access to a network of other scholars, so other students that are enrolled in the program that will be going through the same experience as you from the region. Third is access to academic advising, career counseling, and mentorship through the program at ASU, and our ASU colleagues will talk a little bit about that. And finally, promotion. So there will be an opportunity for you to be featured in our communication, in our social media, on our website, with our access to media agencies and employers. This is an opportunity for you to have a presence and to promote yourself and to help you with your career opportunities in the future. Now, in exchange for the scholarship, we expect a few things from our scholars. So first of all, we expect our students to maintain a 3.0 GPA throughout the whole program. And that is the same requirement that we have for you to get accepted. The second is you have to complete your master's degree within 3 years. The third is you have to be responsive to communication with the foundation throughout the whole period of the scholarship. So when we send you emails, we need to keep in touch with you to see how you're doing. You're expected to be responsive to that. Okay. Next, so what are the programs that we are funding at ASU? Here's a list of the 28 programs, and you will find all of these programs listed both on our website and on the ASU website. So on our website, you can find them on the Open Learning Scholars page. You'll find links to the ASU page and to both on our website and on ASU's landing page, which we'll share with you a little bit later, where you can see the programs that you can apply for. Any other programs that are not listed here, we do not provide funding for. So please make sure that you select one of those. Okay. Next, who is eligible to apply for our scholarship? So we have a few criteria that we focus on. And if you're not eligible for any of these, you will not be allowed to, if you're not eligible for some of these criteria, so for example, if you do not have a minimum 85% GPA, you won't be allowed to start the application. So for any students that have not yet tried to start applying for the application, if you receive a note that says you're not eligible, it's because you do not meet these criteria or some of these criteria. So let's go through them. The first one is you have to be an Arab citizen who doesn't have another citizenship. So once you begin completing your application, you'll be asked to provide a copy of your passport or proof of citizenship. The second one is you have to have financial need and be able and willing to provide proof. So once you get to the financial background section in the application, we'll ask you to attach a lot of documents to prove, your financial background. This is a process that will take some time for you to complete because there's a lot of documentation required. And on our website, if you go to the FAQ page, you will find a list of some of the main documents that you need. So feel free to go to that page and look at the list of documents so you can start preparing them ahead of time. If you could please mute your microphone so that you're not interrupting the presentation. Okay. The third is you have to be below 30 years old at the time when you're submitting your application. So as soon, the date that you submit your application on, you have to be less than 30 years old then. And unfortunately, we cannot make any exceptions because this is set in the system, so it's nothing we can do about that. The fourth is you have to be academically achieving. So as I mentioned earlier, you have to have a minimum 85% GPA or a 85% or a 3.0 GPA in your undergraduate degree. And the other thing is you cannot have completed a master's degree already. So if you already have a master's degree, you're not going to be eligible for the scholarship. So please keep that in mind. If you've already started a master's degree and are in your first year, you can apply to transfer, but you will need to complete the essay in the application for transfer students. So please keep that in mind. Next, you have to be proficient in English to standards acceptable by ASU. And ASU will talk a little bit about what are the requirements for English language. Finally, you have to be accepted into ASU. So unless you get accepted at ASU, you will not receive the scholarship from us. Having said that, you don't need to get accepted at ASU to apply for the scholarship. So you can begin applying for the scholarship now and apply for the application, submit the application for ASU. And once you receive your acceptance from ASU, then you will receive the scholarship. So what do we look for in our students? We look for students that are resilient despite their financial needs. So students that can overcome challenges or any difficulties in their lives. You had any health issues in your family, or you are a refugee and you are no longer living in your home, or you've just had some difficult experiences, whether in school. We want to know that you were able to overcome it and you can succeed and you're willing to keep trying. The second one is leadership potential. So we want students that have ambitious plans for their future. They want to achieve big things. Third is your commitment to your community in the Arab world. I mentioned this before, but these are things that are important. And in the application, you will notice some questions that we ask about that. So we'll ask you about any extracurricular activities that you've done, any volunteering that you've participated in, which shows things that you have done, to support the community. And I'm happy to answer any questions about this during the Q&A. I know that this is a bit of a new concept for some students, and you may not know what is included or not included in volunteering or other activities. Finally, we look for students who are able to succeed in an online program. So studying online is very different from studying at university. It may seem easier, but actually it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, and persistence. So we're looking for students that have all of these qualities and that are committed to completing the program and succeeding in it. So now, finally, how do we apply? So there's a few steps that you need to take. First of all, you have to start your scholarship application. So we encourage you to start it as soon as possible because it's a process. It's not something that you can complete in a few hours. Second of all, you have to start your ASU application as well. It also is a full university application that takes time. You will need to submit your transcripts, and ASU will talk a little bit about the process for that. So regarding the ASU application, there's an application fee of $90, and ASU has agreed to waive it for all of the Ghurair scholars that are applying through us. When you start your scholarship application, there will be a link to a survey. You have to click on the survey and complete it, and that will let ASU know that you're one of our applicants, and they will waive the fee so that when you are completing your ASU application, you will not need to pay $90. And we can talk about this during the Q&A if anyone has questions. Next, please review all the FAQs on our foundation website under the Ghurair Open Learning Scholars Program. And I think we've sent the FAQs to everyone today as well over email. So you have a copy of them in English and Arabic, hopefully. If not, they're all on the website as well, so feel free to read through them. Next, prepare all your required documents. So as I said, you'll find a list of especially the financial documents that you need on our website. And then you have to create a profile on the Foundation's portal if you haven't yet done that. So you have to create a profile, and once you do that, you can start the application. And then obviously you need to complete your application by November 29th at 5 p.m. UAE time. This is a very set deadline, so if you do not submit your application by 5 p.m., we will not be able to consider you. So make sure you start your application early. And also make sure that you complete your ASU application as well, depending on when you want to start, because it takes a bit of time for them to review your application. Once you hear back from ASU, you need to let us know you've been accepted. We need a copy of your acceptance letter. So there is a process that we need to go through to finalize everything. And finally, once you submit your applications, just wait to hear back from us. We can talk about the process of what happens after you submit your application during the Q&A if you have any questions about that. But I'll keep moving for now so that ASU has some time to go through their slides. Finally, the dates and the deadlines. I said it's November 29th. It seems like far away, but it's really not that far away. So don't wait till the final date to submit your application. Make sure that you've completed all the different parts of your application, especially your essays. A lot of students may struggle a little bit with the English language in the essay, but please keep in mind that it's a very important part of the application, and it's not something you can do in one sitting. You should take some time to write it and review it. Get others to review it for you, and you need to write a minimum number of words, otherwise we won't even read it. So if you have less than 20 words, we will just discard your application. So please take this seriously. And keep in mind that if we notice any plagiarism, we will also not consider your application. So we're happy to discuss any questions you may have about plagiarism or the essays in general during the Q&A. And finally, if you can't meet the application deadline, it's okay. There are 3 application cycles every year, so we will be having another one in March. So just keep that in mind. But obviously, the sooner you can apply, the better. So now I will pass it on to my colleagues at ASU to continue the presentation. Just let me know, Erica and Casey, if I'm not switching the slides at the right time.
Okay, not a problem. Thanks for letting us describe ASU a little more for everyone. And once again, welcome. My name is Erica, just for those of you that just popped in. And I have Casey with me today as well. So we're going to talk a little more about ASU itself and the university as a whole and what it means to you to take courses online with us. One of the things that we're very proud of is for the third year in a row, we're the #1 university for innovation in the United States. We've beat out Stanford and MIT again. So we're always proud of these things, and the fact that we are so high up there in the innovation sector pretty much means that we're also just excellent in the online atmosphere as well. So when you take classes here, whether they're online or if you're physically here, you get the same experience. And that's something that we're going to talk about a little more today as well. So ASU is a comprehensive public university. We're not measured by who we exclude, but by who we include. And our goal is to help everyone succeed. So we are advancing research and discovery of public value. We assume fundamental responsibility for the economic, social, cultural, and overall health of the communities that we serve. So we're very into making sure that our students are proud to be here in our university, are able to be successful, and are able to graduate and move on and do something wonderful in the world. That's why it's so great that we can work together with this scholarship program and help all of you as well. So ASU has some admission standards. We're going to go over them in the next few slides. As I continue talking, if any of you have any questions, feel free to put them up in the chat. If I can respond to them right away, I will. If not, I'll respond to them at the end of this presentation. So we have 2 set admission standards for everyone. One of them being for the master's degree. You obviously have to have a bachelor's degree, and it needs to be the equivalent of a 4-year US bachelor's degree. So your international institution needs to be recognized by your country, and what you have needs to be equivalent to what we have here as a bachelor's degree. We also have a GPA requirement, which is a 3.0, and this grade point average has to be, you have to have a 3.0 within the last 60 semester hours or 90 quarter hours of your undergraduate coursework. So that's pretty much how they work out that calculation. If you've taken classes in a few different schools or you've done a few different types of degrees, we would take the last 60 semester hours or 90 quarter hours that you've earned and average out the GPA that way. If you can progress to the next slide, Samar.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have admission standards specific to international applicants. And these are things that you'll need to concern yourselves with a little more because you need to prove your English proficiency. The next slide will go over some of that in a little more detail, but this is for students whose native language is not English, and your application will not be processed without valid proof of English proficiency. So we'll talk about this in a little more detail in a minute because this is important to be able to progress through your ASU application. You also need your transcripts sent in. So the international transcripts, we would need your official transcript in the original language accompanied by an official English translated copy. This copy needs to be translated by the university, by a government official, or an official translation service. It cannot be translated by you personally. So just keep that in mind as well. To talk a little more about the English proficiency requirements and how to prove that you have that, there are 3 different ways that you can go about doing that. There's the test of English as a foreign language, or a TOEFL. You need a score of at least 550 or 550 PBT or 80 IBT. There's also the International English Language Testing System. In that case, you need a score of at least a 6.5. And then we also do have another option, the Pearson Test of English. This is something where we have a link for this and we can show that to you. There are test sessions run around 50 different countries in the world. So that is something that might be an option for you if you're having a problem getting your test scores from either one of the above options. Keep in mind, and this is something that we've run into before, so make sure you keep this in mind, test scores must be completed within the last 2 years. So if you've taken an English proficiency test in the past and it's beyond 2 years, you need to make sure you give yourself time to retake it.
Okay.
Additional factors that you may need to consider depending on the program that you're in. Some programs require additional test scores like the GRE or GMAT. Some require or look at the type of coursework that you've completed during your undergraduate studies. So sometimes, depending on possibly the engineering programs and things like that, you may need to have additional coursework that would go towards your master's program. Letters of recommendation are very common, so that's something you would want to start collecting now. And sometimes there are other supporting documents that'll either be requested or that would be beneficial for you for your application. In order to see what other factors are considered for admission, you'll want to go to the ASU Graduate Degree Search. And I'm not sure if any of you can actually click on these links here. So Samar, I think it might be a good idea for us to send out this slide presentation to the viewers today so they are able to check out these links as well after we're finished with the presentation.
Of course.
Okay, so if we can move on to the next one then. As far as our ASU application process, the first thing you're going to do is start with the AGFE application. In the beginning of that application, you're going to see a link to request the ASU application fee waiver. So once you go in there and fill out that short form, we'll be able to start going through the process of waiving your application fee. It's going to take a few days, sometimes a week, so it's good to get your name in early so we can start that process. From there, you want to start working not only with the AGFE application, but you want to start filling out the ASU application as well. So you're going to be kind of working with both of these simultaneously because you need different types of information for both, and it's good to just start working on them together. While you're working on our application, please make sure you select the JN status for your visa type. So there's going to be a bunch of different visa options, but since you will be online students, you do not have to worry about having a visa. You'll be staying in your own country, so you're going to select the JN status. Make sure you write that down because that's one of our big questions that students ask us. Keep in mind that admission decisions are made, oh wait, Samar, go back one again. We're going to go over to the left side of the slide now. Keep in mind that admissions decisions are made upon completion of all fields of the application, getting your fee waived, and submission of your supplemental materials. So if you still need to get in your English test scores or letters of recommendation, that will hold up your application. So make sure that you start preparing for that now. Each college reviews and approves the applications for admissions individually. So depending on the program you choose for your master's degree will depend on the length of time and the materials needed for your application. So once again, that could vary depending on the program. What you will find out through your My ASU account. So ASU has a portal, a student portal for their students, and you will start that when you start your application. You will find out whether you were admitted to ASU or not, through your My ASU account. So you don't receive a separate email. So make sure you keep that in mind as well. Okay, now we can move forward. So these are some website resources for you, and once again, these will be beneficial to you once we send out the slide presentation, so you can just click on them. But if there's anything here that you want to look up now, just so you have a better general idea of what is expected of you at ASU, please feel free to write down some of those links. And let's go to the next one. I forget if, yeah, we do still have one more. So another thing I wanted to talk about, the benefit of being through ASU Online, is that we've really mastered the art of support with our students. So you are going to be receiving not only the exact same degree as our on-ground students. In fact, your transcripts won't look any different. A transcript for a student that actually physically attends ASU and for a student that attends ASU online looks exactly the same. You'll receive the same quality of education. You're going to be receiving education through our quality research faculty that we have here on staff. These faculty members will be recording lectures, be housing live lectures at times, we'll be holding discussion forums. There's lots of different options with the courses themselves. So you're not just sitting there looking at a slide presentation like you are right now. It's much more interactive in an online class. And we also support you as you go through this. So when you begin your ASU application, you will be contacted by an ASU enrollment team member to help support you through that process. During your time here, you'll also be contacted by a success coach that will help you with your online learning environment and any other questions that you might have as you are going through your program itself. And we also have specific academic advisors that are available to assist you in understanding your course schedule, your requirements, understanding the curriculum that's involved within your programs. And beyond that, we have online tutoring offered to all of our students as well. They can assist you in many different things, including your English skills, your writing skills, your math skills. There's many different options with our online tutoring. It's live, it's free to you, and it's available to all of our students. So we really have the goal of supporting you as much as possible while you're here with us so that you can be successful and you can graduate.